was the last day of Bears camp. How'd they look, Grote?
Oh, it was great. It was a win. No, actually, they did look good today. And what they focused on almost solely today was red zone stuff. And Justin Fields looked, I can say with confidence, Justin Fields looked pretty good in the red zone.
Decisive?
Decisive. He was putting some serious zip on the throws as well.
Mm-hmm.
Like some good touch when he needed it. Good loft to Cole Kmet at one point in time. So it actually was a very good drill today for Justin Fields in that regard. Sorry, guys, having some technical difficulties.
Nice little
here.
exhale.
Yeah.
After yesterday, when there was inconsistent reports on whether or not he looked good or not. This was stressful for June, Grote. I don't like that.
Well, let me put a different twist on it because the reports are correct when people are saying that Justin Fields has looked uneven at times or bad at times or has missed throw. That is all accurate. But I will say the number one thing that probably needed to be accomplished in OTAs and this minicamp is getting down a chemistry with DJ Moore. And I think that they did. Like, what if that hadn't happened? Like that,
sure.
Everything looked the way it was supposed to look between your number one quarterback and your number one wide receiver. So I think that is something that was accomplished. But we take it for granted because I think we've said it so much that I think that you guys and other hosts get tired of hearing, oh, DJ Moore. Well, that's a pretty important thing to have gotten down, and it was conceivable that it would not have happened, and it did.
Yeah, for that to have happened fast is really good, and I think the chemistry that they do have is instructive, and we're going to get to some of that in your tape as we go along here. But take us on a tour through practice via the sound you have brought, you maestro of Bearsness.
Yes, and I will get more specific about. Yeah,
it is now.
I've always considered myself a bit of a maestro, so I'll get to some of the specifics on the field later on, but let's talk about Justin Fields and all of the things that everybody has been talking about Justin Fields when it comes to his mechanic. Now, I've got one of two here on that concept, and the first one we're going to do is specifically on his footwork and how Justin Fields feels that he has done in terms of getting better at that.
I mean, yeah, it's different from my rookie year because it was a completely different footwork than now. So this footwork that we have now, the first year of me using it was last year. So, I mean, if you're comparing it from now to last year, I would say it's a big difference for you.
You're being coached differently that year as far as footwork.
Yeah, different footwork. Yeah, what's up?
Feel the effect of this, that this works better for you?
Yeah, not necessarily for me. I mean, of course it does. I think last year, of course, was my first year doing it, so I was just trying to get the hang of it. And of course, I grow throughout the year. But this year, I've gotten a lot more comfortable with it, and it just times up for the routes better. Just like I've been saying since last year, our whole offense is using my feet. It's tied with our feet, so just trying to use that feet as like a clock in our head, just to move from each route in the progression.
That's really interesting. So yeah, because when he said not necessarily for me, but it's for the good of the offense, his feet need to work the way that they're having him work it.
It's faster, right? I mean, at Ohio State, he had a lot of time to just stand back there because he had better offensive linemen than everyone, better receivers than anybody. And now everything is so quick in the NFL, you've got to be tight with all of your mechanics.
That's a great thing to point out. And I know people get tired of hearing about the Ohio State comparisons because we're getting farther and farther away from it. But that is true. And that is something that he had to adjust to at this level. And I too, I perked up two speaks. That's why a lot of why I put those two cuts together was because of that part of how it kind of blew me away at first. Not necessarily for me, because all we've heard all along is you've got to get better with your footwork. And then here's Justin Fields being real about it, that it's just about being in sync with all the receivers and everybody sees everything the same static way.
It makes all the sense in the world.
Yeah.
It's got to correlate with, how deep a receiver is going in his route. So they're learning something that has to correlate with what he's learning.
Yeah, and let's stay on the footwork, but this will also evolve into his timing and his release, which are two other big things that Justin Fields has been working on.
When you talk about the feet kind of controlling the clock in your head, is that the entirety of the rhythm and timing that you guys are looking for? How big a part of the rhythm and timing that's being emphasized here is tied to that?
Yeah, I just feel like it's different. Of course, it's tough for you guys to know, when, we're using certain footworks for, what routes, what concepts and stuff like that. But I would say most of it is, yeah. But of course, if you get, pressed, you might have to press man coverage by the corner, you might have to hang on it just a little bit longer, just depending on what route it is and stuff like that. But it just differs from, concept to what coverage the defense is playing and stuff like that. So
Also said that one of the things that he's emphasizing is release with you. What specifically are you looking to improve with your release?
Who said that? Who said that? Yeah, of course you want to just work on getting the ball out as fast as you can. With defenses and stuff like that. So, the faster I can get the ball out, the more efficient, the faster I can get the ball into, guys like DJ Moon, running back, all that. So,
are you noticing it? Like, to the naked eye, does he look different mechanically this year compared to last year?
I'd say it looks a little bit smoother, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and there's so many times, too, I should point this out. There's a lot of times, it was not the case today, but there are a lot of times where the Bears were practicing as far away as possible from the media. So there's a lot of minutia and up-close stuff and specifics that we don't see, that we just don't see because...
Think that's by design?
100%. Like they did a thing yesterday when they were working.
It's good read, Danny.
Thanks.
They were on the opposite side of the field. So not only were they on the opposite side of the field, they lined up all their players on the 50-yard line. And I'm sure that there was some team building thing or reason that they had.
Human wall.
It was a human wall yesterday, and we were not allowed to see. And if you can't, hey, good luck. If you can find a way to see, you can see. Today it was all right in front of us.
These are good cuts you've chosen and are helping in some of the understanding, I think, and I hope the listeners feel that, because when he talks about, how the footwork is difficult, think about if you hear that he was late on a throw or he was adjusting on a throw. Maybe it was a footwork issue, not a vision issue, or not like he was like, oh, my feet were wrong, and that's what delayed me from actually being able to do this.
Yeah, that's a possibility too, and that actually brings me to another possible, something to keep in mind for people who are worried about any of this for Justin Fields right now, because the reporting on Justin Fields and his throwing has not been great throughout the OTAs and the minicamp. I thought that this was kind of telling what Justin Fields said right here. If you are worried about him, sounds like he is allowed to take chances right now.
I think the biggest thing we talked about OTAs and minicamp was, we're not game planning for our defense right now. So just with the, blitz periods and stuff like that, just, sticking to our base rules and, if they get us, throw hot or, throw peaks and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So he's allowed to make it. It was similar to Mitch Trubisky. I don't know if you guys remember. I don't know if you remember anything about the Mitch Trubisky era, but Matt Nagy was obsessed with it's okay to make your mistakes now. It's like we want him to take chances.
That's when you're supposed to do it,
right? So some of that, for whatever it's worth, some of that is probably going on, and that Justin Fields expressed that, I think, is interesting. I don't think that was necessarily his answer to maybe hearing the criticism of him throughout that, but I think that is something that I think I needed to hear that. I don't know about you guys in terms of being allowed to make mistakes right now.
Well, I mean, he's always been aggressive, right? I mean, he touchdown to check down mentality is what you want your star quarterbacks to have. So that sometimes leads to a few more interceptions, but the hope is that it leads to a bunch more touchdowns.
Yeah, but also, like, you come to a band rehearsal, you might hear me reach for a note that I have trouble hitting. I'm trying to hit it and trying to figure out how to hit it,
Right.
So if he's trying
make
to
your
do
mistakes in practice,
100%. So like as an ethos, that does make some sense to me.
Yeah, and good question earlier about does it look better? Because obviously with all the reports of the passing not looking great, I will say that mechanically there is a smoothness that better. I wouldn't say 100%, certainly not complete, but better.
Okay. Anything beyond Fields?
Yeah, we got some Flus here.
Not that I really want there to be anything.
Oh, no, but I thought we were going to get to the DJ Moore. I'm very excited.
Oh, sorry. I forgot about DJ Moore.
This is very important. I'm very excited about this.
I'm sorry.
Because he looks good with DJ Moore, but he looks bad with everybody else. What's wrong with him?
So
that was yesterday's vibe. Remember that?
That's right. It was just yesterday.
Yeah, he looked terrible throwing to Tyler Scott. What the hell's wrong with this guy?
Well, some of us were surprised that the chemistry happened so fast. Was Justin Fields surprised the chemistry happened so fast?
I mean, it did come quickly. I didn't really expect anything because it's different for each guy. But I feel like with DJ, it's his body language is pretty easy to read. And really early on, we communicated on how we want each route ran and stuff like that. And of course, he's a lot of experience. He's been in the league for a good period of time now. So he's played a lot of football, so he knows different coverages really well. That's one thing that I was kind of impressed about. Like with the offense coming in and just, understanding, seeing coverages really well on short routes and stuff like that. So, he's been great, and, the chemistry has definitely picked up.
So I love that so much on a lot of levels. Obviously, he's a veteran and a pro, and he knows how to read defenses as a wide receiver. That's awesome. Body language is easy to read because he knows, as a route runner, obviously he's very polished and he's really good. But that they've had the discussions about how he wants certain routes to run because he's been working with them. He's had a chance to work with him, and he's just so much further along as DJ Moore as a wide receiver. He obviously needs to have those discussions with these other guys. He's had those discussions with Darnell Mooney. We're not seeing him out there yesterday when people are expressing concern. Adam Haugh. He's had some discussions, presumably with Chase Claypool. Didn't see him yesterday because he's hurt. So he's got these other guys who are not as polished, and he hasn't had the communication with them. So. And everybody agrees it's a good thing that he's locked in with his number one wide receiver. It's June. He knows what to do to try to get locked in with those other guys. He just has to put in the time.
And I'll bet that those discussions that they had, Speaks, that you're talking about, at the beginning of his time here, DJ Moore probably had, I'm guessing, the most to say. Because, look, he's the experienced veteran 1,000-yard receiver, and Justin Fields is still trying to figure out. I'm sure Moore was like, here's the way we're going to do it.
Sure. How many quarterbacks has DJ Moore broken in Carolina?
Yeah, plenty.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it would behoove Justin Fields, and it sounds like he is, just to somebody like that.
Oh, yeah,
just
tell me.
Listen to that guy.
Oh, there we go.
And it's amazing, too. And it is relative to the talent that is out on the field. He just looks so much better than every other receiver out there. And you mentioned Chase Claypool. He was out on the field again today walking around and just trying to figure out if I could see anything wrong. There was nothing detectable. He did, I know people like hearing this, he did have a play sheet in front of him. It looked like he was following along and engaged in all of that. So.
Well, I mean, and that's the thing, too. Like, the DJ Moore gap to other Bears receivers, I mean, he's the best Bears receiver since Allen Robinson, for sure.
Absolutely.
And then, but he's arguably better than Allen Robinson, and so you could say he's the best Bears receiver since Brandon Marshall, Alshon Jeffrey. You know what I mean? We got to go back a ways. So then when you take out Mooney and Claypool, like the gap between him and Dante Pettis.
Right. Here's
or
Simba Webster coming at you.
Him and Tyler Scott, like the other guys that you're
Simba
watching
Webster.
out there.
Yeah.
Right. It must be like watching varsity and JV.
And isn't this what happens when a great player comes to your team? They bring some wisdom and some communication on how to do it and how to make it successful. So Fields will learn from that, and maybe he'll share it with other receivers, or DJ Moore will also share it with other receivers. Like, a great player elevates an entire operation.
Yeah, and we were seeing good things. By the way, in those red zone drills today, DJ Moore not a part of those, and it was asked during the press conference today, anything to that, and it was a one-word no from Matt Eberflus. But let's get into the red zone drill here just a little bit,
please,
and what Matt Eberflus saw on the field, and then I'll fill in some blanks after that.
You said with him and with Justin in the red zone that's an area you still anticipate tapping into his rushing ability. But for him as a passer, what do you want to see him get better at inside the 20?
Yeah, that's just those are tight throws. Inside there, the closer you get, the tighter the throws are. So, you got to put them low and away sometimes. Sometimes you got to put them high and outside. So it's really important. The accuracy down there is so important, and being on the same page with the receivers, because it's Bobby and Cole and Clay and all the big receivers that we have. Those guys are very valuable targets down there because they're always open because they can use their body to stay open. So that's what we need to work on still.
And Bobby, by the way, that's Robert Tunyon. I like that everybody calls him Bobby.
Bobby T.
Bab.
Yeah.
You know what? He is one of the Babs.
He's a Bab.
He's one of the Bears Babs.
He's a big-time Bob.
He's from.
He's from
from around here, Grote. I mean, are all the Bobs who are from around here? Have they been hanging out at camp?
I think so, but they throw in an occasional Jack too, a Jack Sanborn. It's not just
no,
Bobs.
he's a Bob.
Yeah, okay.
Jack is a Bob.
Jackson,
Cole is a Bob.
Cole is a Bob.
Yeah, he is Jackson Robert Sanborn.
Is
so
he really?
No, but I think that would be great.
TJ Edwards is a Bob.
Yeah.
Okay, Bob.
He's absolutely, all these guys are Bobs.
But the
having
name of
Portillo's.
Hurricane is Hurricane Dicka.
Having Portillo's between plays.
Robert Tunyon made a terrific catch in the end zone from Justin Fields today.
That.
Cole Kmet.
Guy scores in the preseason.
Yeah, exactly. And your guy, Cole Kmet today, made a big time catch in the back corner of the end zone. We've seen a little bit of that in the past with Justin Fields. So he was just sharp. Like I said, tremendous zip on the passes, touch when he needed it, kept it out of harm's way for the most part. So, I mean, that's huge because we know how bad the Bears have been in the red zone over the last couple of years, for sure.
It's great. July, we'll start hyper-analyzing it again, and then we'll say, all right, how many reps is he going to get in the preseason? And then he'll get some reps in the preseason, and then we're going to, but they're not game planning for anything. And then, all right, well, let's wait for Green Bay. And then the Green Bay game is when we're going to put about 100 years of Bears fan quarterback angst into the result of those 4 quarters.
With Justin Jones leading the way in that city place.
Oh, we got to ask Bart when we talk Milwaukee stuff with Bart if that picked up any traction up there.
About how dumb Packers fans are.
Oh, yeah. I honestly haven't seen. Have they been going on?
I haven't seen
are they
it.
asking Packers fans and Packers media?
I don't know.
I'll look forward to hearing that.
4:40 today.
I'll definitely want to know. All right. Let's get to Matt Eberflus. One more from the Flus, if I may. One thing that we have noticed, and I think Chris Emma picked up on this before I did, and that is Matt Eberflus this year. You know how serious he is, and he's gotten criticism, fun criticism from us, right? Because he's so serious, hits principle, all that kind of stuff. We have noticed that Matt Eberflus seems to be making an effort to be funny. Looks like he's putting together some shtick. And I just want to give you guys a couple of examples of the funny that Matt Eberflus is bringing. I will continue to put this together throughout the season.
Please.
We'll see how long we can make it, but this one's probably about a minute or so, if that. Danny?
Is your comfort level different? Because now you've been through a year as a head coach, too.
Yeah, sure. It's just like I said, it's the second time through it. You remember your first time writing articles and stuff, right? You're like, man, probably some misspellings in there, right? No?
No.
Are you sure? Can you fact check that?
I was good from the jump.
To go back, last Thursday we went to the United Center and had a good function there. Supposed to be OTA 10, but we decided to do a function there like we did last year at Wrigley. I think the guys enjoyed it. I think everybody likes to shoot hoops. Bigsy can't shoot any hoops, but that's all right.
That's it.
Wow.
Did you hear Emma laughing?
Takes a shot at Bigsy.
Did you hear a little?
Takes a shot at Brad Biggs.
I've always loved Flus.
It's coming. I will continue this thread. Like I am saving the edit, and I will continue to add to the Matt Eberflus stand-up act throughout
Good job by
God.
Jason Leisure saying that he was good from the beginning.
Oh, absolutely. And Leisure, too, then said, of course, I didn't make spelling errors.
Right.
Really? No, I didn't.
No,
of course he didn't.
And Leisure's probably right. I mean, spell check. Spell checks existed for a long time.
Ask Mitch Rosen about that.
Yeah.
His angles might have sucked in those articles, but the spelling was fine. I love your instinct here, Grote, because we could get Eberflus a gig at Zany's if we need to, but just keep compiling. That's excellent stuff.
Absolutely.
So one of the text lines said, "Call it the bits principle." he's got bits.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Flu seemed to like, by the way, just something I've noticed here. Flu seems to like the 5th-round Minnesota quarterback Terrell Smith. Now, Terrell Smith was on the bike today, but he's mentioned him a couple times, and he's on a Smitty basis with him. He referred to him as Smitty today, seems to really like him, wants to see what he's all about during camp. There was a league rep at Haugh yesterday to give the official gambling presentation. I know that we've heard about this and talked a little bit about this, but the what to do and what not to do. The training camp schedule will come out in the next 48 hours. That, according to Matt Eberflus, anyway. Justin Fields says that Mike Vick was here to interview him. We might have seen that story, but he confirmed it. He said it's a little thing that Vick has been doing, interviewing a bunch of quarterbacks around the league. So eventually we'll hear that interview. And finally, Fields leaves for France tomorrow night to help run a football camp for kids, teach those kids in Europe how to play football. Jordan Love is going to be there along with Deshaun Watson. And yes, this is Justin Fields' first trip to Europe.
Wow. Yeah. In France with Jordan Love.
Yeah.
Les would not like that.
Oh, yeah.
No, he wouldn't.
Don't have a baguette.
More like Jordan hate.
Exactly right.
That's what it would become. A lot of people say it's Jordan hate.
Can you imagine a picture of Justin Fields and Jordan Love at the Eiffel Tower together? and less blowing his top.
Oh my
I like the
God.
idea of it being Love, Watson, and Fields, and less having the problem with him being with Jordan Love and not Deshaun Watson. I actually like that as the angle.
Well done. We don't talk about that stuff on my show. We'll talk about Jordan Love, but not Deshaun.
But good job by Fields. He's getting practice for going over to Europe too. I mean, they're going to Germany.
Oh yeah,
this
yeah,
year,
absolutely.
right?
Not congratulate the opponent. I don't care if it's a next teammate during a game. That's bull.
Guy had
Wow,
takes.
that's bull.
Who was it?
It was
Danya. What's his name?
Danielle Manning.
Danielle
Manning.
Manning. I want to
it
say Danielle
sure
Marshall.
was.
Danielle Manning. That's what it was. I knew there was a Danielle or a
If it wasn't
Danielle.
for Danielle Manning, the Bears may have won the Super Bowl. A lot of people forget that he blew the coverage. He did. And he did, by the way.
And he
Danielle
did.
Manning did
I
blow
thought
the coverage.
I thought they're not going to Germany. Didn't that game?
Oh yeah, they're not going to Germany.
Yeah.
they're not going to Germany.
They're not going.
I'm an idiot.
No,
I don't
you're
know.
not.
I paused and I just let it go.
I
but-
Yeah,
know.
no, they're not
I
going
could
to
have.
Germany.
Yeah.
I could have too.
No, you're right.
It's actually
Yeah.
pronounced Hermany, by the way. Yeah.
All right.
They'll be going soon. Soon enough.
I read the full context, by the way, of your guy Tevin Jenkins' quotes.
Okay.
From like yesterday, and you brought us some great tape on
you
it
did?
yesterday.
Oh, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, I love where that guy's head is at.
Oh, it's great. Very succinct too. There's not a lot of like last year, I'm not really sure.
Yeah, no. I think he might end up being the best offensive lineman on this team.
Again?
Yeah.
Wow.
But
okay. Well,
even with a Nate Davis.
would
and
that be good? Would that be a good thing if Tevin Jenkins was when you have a first round pick as
No.
your right tackle?
No,
Would
you don't want your left guard to be your best offensive
no,
lineman.
but what if he's great? I mean, what if he's great? Like, in Dallas, they can debate whether it's Zach Martin or one of the tackles. You know?
Yeah, but I'd take Tyron Smith. Like, you know what I mean, when he's healthy, because I'd take the great tackle. But yeah, I mean, I hope that it's the guy that they use the 10th overall pick for. Whether that happens as a rookie or not, that's the biggest investment in a premium position. I hope that it's that guy.
Okay, that's fair.
Yeah, I agree.
By the way, that guy, Darnell Wright,
Yeah.
hit a sweet 3-pointer at the United Center. Did you see that
Yeah,
video?
they caught it on video.
Oh,
Yeah, I didn't
yeah.
see it.
Oh,
I didn't see
yeah.
it.
He did a little dribble pull up three
Yeah.
from probably like 24 feet.
He looked
It was nice.
good, man.
Yeah.
Did Biggsy out there too, shooting the hoops?
What a
'Cause he-
stray
Bricks.
that Biggs caught.
Just brick upon brick.
What a stray.
Well, Biggs is right up front, so he's probably got like some peripheral eye
Yeah, he
contact
sees
with
him,
Biggs.
association.
Right, exactly.
I know how that goes.
And that's football coach love language.
Yeah.
Right
Well,
there.
no, but it's nice. It's nice. Like, his timing's not quite there with the humor yet, but
with the bits principle.
with the bits principle. But I love that he's trying. I mean, it's nice. He's trying to get to know us.
Several texters assuming that Matt Eberflus is going to be blocked on Twitter by Brad Biggs. Which I think is a fair guess. That's a fair guess. Yeah.